Hi everyone, I'm Jenny Wang from the Human Rights Foundation. HRF is a nonprofit organization dedicated to protecting and promoting human rights in countries ruled by authoritarian regimes. Thank you for tuning in. In December of 2021, last year, HRF launched the Uyghur Forced Labor Checker, which is a Google Chrome extension plugin. Based on a list of fashion brands identified by the Coalition to End Forced Labor in the Uyghur region, HRF's plugin generates a pop-up on various brand sites, indicating whether the respective brand might be linked to Uyghur forced labor. With this plugin, HRF hopes to increase public awareness about Uyghur forced labor. Today, we have Uyghur advocate and spokesperson of the coalition, Jewher Ilham. Jewher is the daughter of prominent Uyghur academic Ilham Tohti, and she is one of the only few labor rights experts of Uyghur descent. Thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you, Jenny. I'm looking forward to this discussion.
If you could tell the audience today, who are the Uyghurs and why are they being sent to forced labor facilities across China by the Chinese government?
We are a Turkic-speaking ethnic group, like Uzbeks and Kazakhs and Kyrgyz. We share a similar ethnic background and culture. Our Uyghur identity is an important part of our lives. Our sense of ethnic identity and our religious faith are seen by the government as incompatible with the absolute control it wants to maintain over the population. And also, there are the economic considerations underpinning, the Chinese government's intention to exert iron control over my homeland, the Uyghur region, and dominate the Uyghur population. For instance, the Uyghur region is rich in natural resources of such as gold, uranium, and natural gas. And also, as many of you know from the Uyghur Forced Labor Brand Checker, you know that the Uyghur region accounts for over 84% of China's total cotton output, and which is 20%, 22% of the world's cotton production.
In order to help our audience better understand the scale of this, what are some brands that have been found to be linked to Uyghur forced labor or found to be profiting off of Uyghur forced labor?
Just to name a few brands, according to the recent released report by Sheffield Hallam University, the Laundering Cotton Report, we have learned that several brands from Walmart to Costco, from Anthropology, to Tommy Hilfiger's, all these brands have been recorded of their direct or secondary links to companies that were reported to use Uyghur forced labor or had been participating the Chinese government's Uyghur labor transfer programs.
Mm-hmm.
And this is very concerning, especially with the passage of the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act. There's
Right.
no company should be sourcing any goods from the Uyghur region because given the scope, there are over 1 million Uyghur people are going through detention. And according to Chinese government's own released white paper, each year there are 1.29 million people from the Uyghur region are going through so-called vocational training. This is also one of the many terms that the Chinese government used to justify those detention centers.
Given that it is such a concerning issue, I'm curious to learn what are some government responses from around the world. I guess, for example, you mentioned the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act.
So, first of all, before the passage of the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act, we know that the U.S. had announced what's happening to the Uyghur people is considered genocide, and there are more countries have joined the list and had announced that what's happening is indeed genocide. And with the U.S. Passing the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act in December of 2021, which is just a few months ago, this law, what does it mean? It is an advanced version of the recent WRO, the Withhold Release Order, which bans all the cotton production from the Uyghur region from entering the U.S. market. And this is advanced version of it. What do I mean by that? So this bill does not only ban cotton production, cotton items that is entering the U.S. Any goods coming from the Uyghur region, unless the supplier can provide clear and strong evidence to prove that this item is not made by forced labor. Otherwise, this product cannot be entering the U.S. border. But of course, we have to note that it is not enough just for the US to pass such law, because what brands and companies can also do, which also was indicated in the laundering cotton report, many companies have been shipping their goods from the Uyghur region to India, to Pakistan, to neighboring countries, and then somehow put on another label saying "Made in Pakistan," "Made in India," "Made in whatever countries that is around," and then they will be reshipping into the U.S. or to Canada or to somewhere in Europe. So those goods that are tainted by forced labor still end up in people's hands, in their closets, in their homes. And
Hmm.
that is why we need more countries, more and more countries, to join this effort together to end modern day slavery together.
I guess in addition to downloading our plugin, what are some things that we can do?
Well, then, Jenny, you mentioned about addition to downloading the plugin, but we really need to emphasize on the importance of adding this plugin, because the key part of any advocacy work or activism or any action in order to change something is the first step is to educate yourself, be aware of what is happening, and be aware of who is related to what's happening. And in this case, we are learning that Uyghur people are going through forced labor, are being subjected to forced labor by the Chinese government. This is the key information we need to learn. And what is the next key information? What kind of forced labor? What industry is tainted? Who are
Hmm.
participating? And then the next step will be avoiding being participant of such activities. And how do we avoid that? If we don't know who are the participants, how do we avoid, right? That is why I want to stress the importance of having such plugin in your laptop, in your computers, because we can't, not everyone has hours of time to read all these labor rights related reports. And I'm full aware of that. People who don't work in this field might not have the capacity or time to read 40 pages long reports. Once you download this application, whenever you shop on your laptop, it will tell you if this brand has actively been trying everything they can to stop Uyghur forced labor, or they have chosen to be on the wrong side of the history.
Thank you so much, Johar, for joining today and sharing your knowledge and input on this topic. And thank you for everyone tuning in to this demo today. This is Jewher Ilham. She is a Uyghur advocate and she is a spokesperson of the Coalition to End Uyghur Forced Labor. If you haven't done so, please download our plugin today. The plugin is called the Uyghur Forced Labor Checker. We hope this demo and this video has helped encourage you to also explore creative means using technology towards safeguarding human rights. If you enjoyed this session and want to learn more, please follow Johar and HRF on Twitter. Thank you all for watching and stay safe.
Thank you all.